Testing.
The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog.
Is that what Jared does?
What?
Is that your go-to testing thing? Or
So
are you just doing
it's
that?
mine. I do it as a joke because that's how you test
typing.
fonts. Because that has all the
It's
letters.
every letter.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but I just think it's funny to use that to test audio levels because it makes there's no reason to do that.
I wonder if there's an equivalent for audio levels.
Probably it's saying like peas or something like the pickled pepper popped on the pristine.
Oh, yeah. Because then it's like
all the
popping filter.
Which are what are those called? Like there's a word for it. It's like PL something like plosives, I think. I think plosives.
Gotcha.
Because they're like peas that are explosives.
Right. Not explosives.
No, they're plosives.
Plosives, yeah. We're here in person.
Oh, we're recording.
We're recording, yeah. I didn't. I should start with a trivia question. I mean, should we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
love
usually
trivia.
do. I mean, we're in first time in the studio. Jeff is at least.
Well, not the first time I was in it. The first time I'm recording something in it.
You've seen it before.
I've seen it before.
But, how does it feel? You usually see the background of this in the Riverside.
Yeah, I don't watch your videos.
Right.
No, so I've never seen this.
Trivia questions, Scary Mommy, who has been our resource for these for months now. Almost, I want to say a year. Never run out of trivia questions from Scary Mommy. Mm-hmm. This one is who starts first in chess?
White.
All right. Yeah.
I played chess.
I didn't know that was a. Let me ask a different one. What is the most expensive home in the world?
The Versailles.
It's
in Florida.
It's Buckingham Palace.
That's not a public home. I was talking about like a home that was purchased.
Yeah.
It was like the.
I didn't know you could buy the Buckingham Palace.
Yeah. It's like something is not expensive if you cannot buy it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be firm on that.
Right.
It's actually worth nothing because it's not for sale.
Yeah. Elon Musk should have bought the Buckingham Palace, not Twitter.
Yeah, instead of Twitter.
What about a better use of his money? You haven't bought Twitter Blue yet. The check.
What do you mean yet? I don't intend on ever doing it.
I thought I was like maybe I might give in one day, but
it makes sense for you to do it though because there are engagement bonuses for having it where they show your tweets to more people and you're like, you're a social media influencer.
Yeah, I know. That's how I felt about like TikTok because I was like, I'll never get into TikTok. That's a very different thing. But now I'm making TikToks.
Yeah. And you're going to be the king of TikTok.
I'm going to be the king of TikTok. Yeah, king of film talk is what they call it.
They do?
It's called film talk, yeah.
Shouldn't that be film stock?
Yeah.
Like films talk.
That makes more sense.
Films talk. There you go.
That's so much better than film talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's like book talk, which I think should just be like Bach talk for the sake of, because it's like okay.
Yeah.
Or book took.
I don't have anything. I have nothing.
I don't know why. Today's an advice episode because we're in person, and when we're in person, we like to do advice episodes.
I don't know. Yeah.
That's true. Well, honestly, we looked at seeing a movie today, but I've seen almost everything that's in
Carson's
theaters.
seen every film, and I've seen none of them.
No, you've seen Mario, but we're not going to talk about Mario again.
No.
Air, I didn't really feel like seeing again.
Yeah, well,
Bo was afraid I didn't.
I thought I saw it.
Again.
I thought I saw Air, but I actually saw Air Bud.
Which we're not going to talk about that.
That was my mistake.
Have we talked about Air Bud on this pod? We did Most Valuable Primate.
We've talked about it a lot. I don't think we talked
production.
about it as the film.
Yeah. I've talked about Air Bud.
Yeah.
And no one seemed to give a shit about that.
You talked about all those Air Buddies.
There was going to be a whole... we've talked about this. There was going to be a trilogy. And then,
yeah, because then I told you about how like a bunch of the dogs died.
Yep. It was going to be like a... That's the thing is like the first video was going to be the worst video because the deeper into the Air Bud Productions thing you go, it's more fascinating.
Yeah.
And then not enough people watched I should have just made it all one video is what I should... Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, today's an advice episode.
We got our coffees ready.
Yes, our cold brews.
Mine's a cold brew with lemonade.
Lemonade, yep. And these come from Instagram as well as the Discord. I haven't actually seen if anybody submitted anything to the Discord. Oh, Jesus, yeah. Oh, we got a... Oh, wait, what the fuck? Oh, that's not that bad. Okay. I like this one. This one's from Resident Gamer 1738 on Discord. And it's, is there etiquette for unfollowing people on Instagram? And if so, what is it? I'm getting tired of seeing some people on my feed, but there's a chance I still will run into some of them IRL.
So I have a very easy answer for this. You mute them. I've done that to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So they don't know that you can't see their posts.
Right.
So that, like, you can if you don't know the person, unfollow them. No one cares. But if it's someone that you're friends with in real life, but they're annoying on social media.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of people, where they'll post, 5 stories every day and they're all mundane and boring.
Yeah.
Just mute them.
And
you can mute their posts or their stories or both. So if they're just someone who posts a lot of annoying stories, just mute their stories.
Totally.
Yeah, I've done that a lot. I've done that for Karsten. No, I haven't done that for Karsten.
Yeah, I unfollowed Jeff months ago. He still hasn't noticed. For Twitter, that's a good thing to do, because there's a lot of people I follow on Twitter who tweet like 20 times a day, and I'm like, I don't need to see all this.
You gonna name one?
No.
See, that's smart.
But there's a lot of film Twitter people that, I think they're funny and I respect them, but I'm like, I don't want to see all this, and I just mute them, but keep the follow, and they have no idea. Instagram, I'm like, who is paying attention to if someone unfollows you? Like, you have to, like, manually go in to, like, check. It doesn't, like, notify you or anything, so it's just, like, not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I've unfollowed a lot of people from high school, and they don't care. Anyway. I have a pretty interesting person that I don't know if I should get into it, because...
Okay, we're all curious now.
I know.
I know you don't want to get into it, but can you give just a general gist of what you're thinking?
I don't want to get into it because this is a certain famous influencer who had a very tumultuous year and a half or so. He's kind of gone down a bit of a rabbit hole into the manosphere, associated with...
Like Andrew Tate?
Associated with Andrew Tate. Very closely associated with Andrew Tate. Which is why I'm like, I don't know, you might even know who this is. But he follows me on Instagram. And I don't follow him anymore. I unfollowed him a ways back. But it's like, I don't want to get vocal about it, because anyone that talks about this guy ends up in his streams on a separate platform, because he got banned off Twitch. And he just, like, talks shit about them. Your face right now. He feeds off people talking about him and ranting about him, because he says ridiculously stupid things.
I feel like you're getting too specific.
I am, and I'm not going to mention his name because I don't want to give away who I'm talking about. But what I'm trying to say is he follows me, and it's one of my craziest follows, is what I'll say.
For now, until they hear this.
Right. He does. He followed me back when this is what I'm going to say, is he used to make phenomenal videos. His editing, if the people that are tapped in know who I'm talking about, I feel like, at this point, but he used to make really great videos, great editing. I think he was a film student, and I think he followed me because I was like a film person, and he he has not unfollowed me, and I just...
That was a bit of a tangent.
It's a bit honest.
Of a tangent. It didn't really help with this advice. So if you have someone who is very famous, but now is an Andrew Tate follower,
yes,
just unfollow them, but don't mention them by name. That's the advice.
I mean, that's the gist, right? It's like, I unfollowed him very quietly. I didn't say anything. I didn't add to the discourse.
That actually is good advice.
Yeah.
Don't
make it a thing.
Yeah, don't just be like, mention that you're unfollowing them.
Yeah. No one has to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
that was very interesting, though.
It's a fact. I was just talking about it with someone today, and that's why I was on the mind. I'm like, I have a certain person who I unfollowed, who I was actually scared to unfollow because I was afraid I would end up in a rant.
Yeah, and that one, it's like, you don't want to just mute them because you don't want it like known that you're following them now.
Right. I just don't. That's the thing with this question. Going back to the thing, it's like, I just don't know if they know. that you unfollowed them. Like it's so hard to, unless they really care.
But if it's someone that you are actually friends with in real life, just mute them.
Exactly. Like you did to me.
Which I would never.
Okay, this one comes from Brian Lute. Why am I giving their names out? I feel like we figured last time that we don't want to reveal their usernames. I'm going to say this one just comes from Brian, and it's, what language should I learn?
That's an interesting question because there's a lot of things that go into that.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was a good question.
Yeah, because you are handpicking these questions.
Yes.
If you have no preference and just want the most useful language, Spanish is a good choice.
Spanish is a great choice. It depends on where you live, I guess.
Exactly. If you're in the U.S., Spanish is a great choice.
Yeah. Unfortunately, if you're not already, I mean, you asked this question in English, so I'm assuming you know English, but I feel like most of the world, English is such a big language.
Yeah. It's pretty much every country in Europe's second language.
Yeah. English is a good one to know.
Yeah, but I assume you know English.
If you asked in English, you probably know English.
Yeah.
Spanish is a good one.
French is another good one.
Yeah. Spanish, at least living in Chicago, there's like signs and like, it's just more useful.
No, Spanish, if you're in the U.S., is by far the best second language. French is like, a lot of countries speak French because of, colonialism.
Right.
Same with Spanish.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why why every country in, besides Brazil and South America and Central America speaks Spanish.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say Spanish or French. And it's really just, those are ones that would be much easier to learn than, for example, Mandarin.
I was going to say Mandarin would be useful.
But very hard to learn. Same with Vietnamese. I very, very briefly looked into trying to grasp some basic concepts because I really liked it when I was in Vietnam. It's a language that's tonal where the way you say a word changes the meaning.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
those kinds of languages are tricky. Very tricky.
Yeah. Now, Dutch and Swedish and Danish are supposed to be quite easy to learn, relatively, of course, if you're an English speaker.
Yeah, I've been doing Duolingo Swedish. I actually recently picked it back up because I'm bored.
Oh yeah.
It's such a not that useful.
It's honestly one of the least useful languages because everyone in Sweden speaks English.
I learned that when I went to Stockholm. I was like, I just don't even need to know this.
No. It's Sweden and Denmark, I think, are like the two highest proficiencies of English. So even German. Germans are excellent at English. I traveled for weeks with a German who I met when I was in Europe.
Right.
And they spoke English to such a high level.
Yeah.
That they even like understood slang, and it was essentially seamlessly like I was speaking with a native speaker.
Right.
Like such a high level.
Yeah.
That they were essentially a native speaker.
I mean, hey. Yeah. So don't really need to learn Swedish is kind of the takeaway from this.
Not even German, honestly.
Spanish, though, I do think Spanish is pretty useful.
Spanish for sure, or French would be the other option. Now, I'm going to start trying to learn French.
Yeah.
Because I've spent months in France. And
yeah, I'm surprised you're not already pretty.
Well, I mean, I'm just bad at languages, so I really am gonna have to put like a big effort into it, where I can't just like pick things up.
Yeah.
I was able to, go into a shop and order a croissant.
Yeah. Un croissant, s'il vous plaît. S'il vous plaît.
Et un pain chocolat, s'il vous plaît.
Si.
Oui.
Oui.
Yeah, you went into Spanish.
Botella d'eau. Asking for a water is hard. Because it's just o, but you have to be like do.
It sounded like you were saying potato.
Bote do. So learn Spanish. Okay, this is an interesting one that I think we can both answer. This one comes from Owen, and it's how to work with difficult people on a film set. Well, maybe we are the difficult people.
Yeah.
Right, Jeff?
Yeah.
I'm not going to out anybody here. I have worked with difficult people. Not them. I'm not going to do that. And I think it's just a thing of like, it should be addressed, especially for the director. And people are like, that's the person in charge. It's like, maybe like quietly and kindly try to like calm that difficult person down.
Yeah.
I've only had to do it one time because I don't shoot that stuff that often. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it really is the same as any other environment where you're forced to collaborate with someone.
Yeah.
You just have to, it's a give and take where you will have to try to adjust your own behavior to accommodate them.
Yeah.
And it's not for the other person. It's for yourself that you're trying to accommodate them, right? Mm-hmm. You're trying to make your own life easier.
Yep.
So it's like sometimes you just have to let go of some of your own wants.
Yeah.
To just make it easier for yourself.
Right.
But obviously there's a tipping point where this person becomes too difficult, and then you have to just talk it out with them.
Yeah. Be like, what's wrong, man?
Yeah.
What's not clicking here?
Like, what can we do to like make this work?
Yeah.
You say, Karsten. I know that you said you wanted 5 sugars.
Yeah.
In your latte, and you said you tasted 4. I promise I put 5 in.
Yeah. I know you said you have a nut allergy, but how bad is it really? Because we need.
Yeah. We need you on camera eating peanuts.
How bad is this allergy? You're being really difficult right now. Yeah. See, that's the thing is I try to avoid conflict like that. So I am never the difficult person on set. If there's a nut, I'll eat it.
Yeah, both of us are pretty conflict averse.
Yes.
I would say.
Yeah. Which good enjoyable people to have around, I'll say.
Exactly. We're great.
This next one comes from okay, this one comes from Liv, and it's procrastinating. Okay, no, it's a 2-part question. I'm not as consistent at making YouTube videos as I would like to be. How do I stop procrastinating, but also do it in a way where I won't be burnt out?
See, this is definitely a better question for you.
I guess, yeah.
I do edit YouTube videos now for my job.
Yeah.
And the way that I am motivated to do it is that I am getting paid, and it is my job.
Right, yeah.
So that is not a good answer for most people.
Yeah.
Karsten, though, is someone who is much more self-motivated. Obviously, you have sponsors.
Yeah.
Where that motivates you, and that's like a time schedule. But in terms of not procrastinating, what would you say is your toolkit?
See, unfortunately, I'm in the same boat where a lot of the time my stuff is also because I'm getting paid because there's a sponsor due that week. And honestly, it used to be more like I'm making this because of this sponsor. But these days, for like a year now, I would say I'm more motivated by like wanting to say something about like wanting to get my thoughts about a movie out.
Which sounds like a much better place to be in.
Much better. I'm like, I've really been enjoying I would say like to make it so that the videos you're making you enjoy making them, I guess. Like I know that's a dumb answer.
No,
like,
it's not.
It's like if you're just like doing something because you're like this would do well, or this is like what I think people would enjoy watching. Like you should make something that you think is fun and fulfilling, because then it's like you get excited to work about.
Yeah, because that's the reason I never started making my own YouTube videos, was because I realized I wasn't motivated to do it, and the reason was because I didn't have anything I was particularly excited about.
Right. Yeah.
So really, you have to kind of reframe your thinking as not that you're procrastinating, but why aren't you excited to do this? And not everyone is going to be excited to make YouTube videos.
No. Gets boring after a while.
So the thing I will say is once you have a routine of doing something, it makes it easier. So the reason we were able to do the podcast, for 3 years straight was because it became a routine where it didn't feel like we were really doing extra work.
Yeah.
It was just like a thing we did every week.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, like, even if you are excited about it, but you're still procrastinating, you're just like bad at doing the work. Like I would say, just split it up into like chunks instead of trying to like say you have to like finish all this video in like this one sitting. Like tell yourself to like maybe edit like 30 seconds or a minute at a time, and then that way it just like slowly like gets put together, and you can like, you know, pat yourself on the back instead of just, I don't know, because if you get too overwhelmed at how much you have to do, then you start procrastinating. But I'm like, if you just focus on like getting done a little bit of stuff that you have to do, then you'll
you heard it here, folks. Carson Runquist says, do 30 seconds of work and pat yourself on the back.
And then go play Rocket League for 3 hours and then come back.
There you go.
That's what I do.
That's how you get this plaque.
That's how you get
there.
that plaque. Yeah. Yeah. That's, yeah. This next one comes from, I should have read some of these beforehand, but there's just so many good ones here. Okay. This one comes from Mad Docs. I won't say anything else. 19, male. How do I get over my overwhelming fear of joining the workforce? That's a big question.
Yeah, I also had a fear of joining the workforce.
Me too. That's why.
That's why
at 19 I went crazy on YouTube, because I was like, truly though. Like, I was so, like, freshman year of college, like, I think I was literally 19 years old, and I was, like, freaking out because, like, people were starting to, like, get jobs, and I was, like, I did get a job that summer, and I really didn't like it, but I was, like, I'm gonna start making videos because it's really fun, and I didn't do it for this reason, but it was weird the way the timing worked out, that I was like, as soon as like that started to become a big thing in my life, I was also like, I should start making videos.
Yeah. I also realized that I never want to have a job that's like an office job where you have like, like a micromanaging person above you and you have to like do Excel spreadsheets.
Yeah.
I can't do that. Like when I worked at DePaul, my job was this really weird, varied thing where I was like the most senior student employee.
Right, yeah.
So I got to just like tell other people to do, and I had like a bunch of random tasks that I had no oversight on. So I won't say I always was the most efficient worker, but I just did whatever task I felt like doing.
Yeah, yeah.
So there is an opportunity to, think about jobs that aren't what you're fearing.
Yeah, yeah.
But also, I would say if you have some big plans that you want to do before getting a job, like you want to go travel for 2 months.
Yeah.
Like that's something I did where, I traveled for months. When you get back, you are a bit calmer and more willing, I think, to settle down for a period of time. Yeah. Because you just did like the craziest thing you could have imagined doing. And it's like, okay, well, now I did that.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like you're missing out on something you could be doing instead of having a job.
Right. Also at 19, like it's a very scary thought because you're like fresh out of like high school still, and you're going from like pretty like nice, I don't want to say nice, but like very like I don't know, work, like joining the work, it just sounds terrifying at that age, but it's like the older you get, the more you're like, you figure out what you want to do for work, and the idea of working kind of excites you. So I don't know, you just give it some time, like you'll and like you said, like there's it's not all horrible. Like there's ways you can like I hated the job I had that summer, but then like I found a different job when I went back to school that was very nice and cozy, and I was like, working isn't that bad.
But wasn't that job where you weren't really working?
Yeah. Where I was the desk receptionist at the dorms. I just watched movies on the desk. So, there's ways to play, and you know what? The pay for that job
was better than what my pay was. A lot
better than working at the Dairy Delight.
Dude, I was having to like manage millions of dollars of equipment, and you were getting paid more than I was to sit at a desk.
But I was like, when I was at like the orientation for that job, they were like, technically you guys are in security, So if someone comes in, it's your job to stop that guy. And I was like, I'm not gonna stop any guy.
Yeah,
Like,
and they hand you a bulletproof vest.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit, that's not me. But that was my job.
Yeah,
thankfully nothing crazy.
It's like sitting in the exit row and on an airplane. They're like, it's your job to help everyone get out of the plane. You're like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
that's your job. You're the one getting paid by the airline.
I was like, if anything happens, I'm gonna call somebody else.
Yeah, if anything happens, I'm gonna jump out of the plane.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave this building. I don't live here. I'm just working here. Anyway, thankfully nothing happened.
Because of you.
Because of me.
You
exactly.
kept it safe.
They saw someone was thinking of coming in and robbing the place,
and you just
and then they saw me and were like, "Fuck that."
Yeah,
not
like,
that
this guy
guy.
looks tough.
Yeah.
This guy looks like he could swim faster than Mark Spitz.
Yep. This next one comes from Jesus.
It's a crazy name.
Yeah, big long name. Okay. This one's sad. I don't want to add. I mean, like, some of these are like sad. Sorry. Do you have anything to say about the room while I look for
I mean, it's a perfect size for an office, I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, you have this crazy red light in your lamp. I think it's a color changing light, if I remember correctly.
Yes, I could change. I don't know why it's stuck on red. I could make it a better color.
No, you know, now I'm used to it.
Yeah. Okay, this is a good one. This one comes from, I'm just going to say A, and it's when I tell my partner of 9 months I might be depressed, he brushes me off. What should I do? That's a tough situation. If he's brushing you off, when you say you're depressed, it sounds like, I mean, I don't know the full situation here, that
course.
he might be trying to, like, make the situation less intense, yeah, for your sake of being like, no, it's okay,
right?
But I don't think that's the most supportive this person could be.
No, I think you need to have a serious discussion where you're not saying it in passing. You're like sitting down with them, and explaining fully. And if they're still brushing you off at that point, I think that becomes a big issue.
Yeah, because like that person, especially of 9 months, it's not a long time, but it's not a short time. It's like they should be more.
Yes.
They should know that they're that person to go to for these kinds of things.
Yeah. And you also, of course, could be seeking medical help.
Yeah. A therapist would be a great resource in this situation.
And also, is it which one can prescribe medication?
I think
psychiatrist, like whatever one can prescribe medication, you might look into seeing one of those.
Yeah. A lot of the time, I mean, you could be depressed because of this relationship, but I don't want to go there. I don't want you to run.
Yeah, that was
don't run with that. Don't run with that.
That was that was an interesting.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just like, I'm saying maybe the partner could fear that that's why you're depressed and doesn't want to confront this topic immediately because they're afraid of what
that is a good point.
What this might lead to,
right? Because being depressed, obviously, a component of that is at face value being unhappy,
right?
And that person, of course, is like, well, they're unhappy and they're with me, and they're putting two and two together. Yeah, they're like, am I the reason they're unhappy? And they think they don't want to imagine that they have a part in this,
right?
And they may not, but I think that it's logical that they might think that. So yeah, that would have to be something that has to be worked out.
Yeah, communication is key here.
Yeah,
I feel like you should even bring this up to this person. Be like, it seems like whenever I bring this up, you brush it off.
Yeah,
and I want to know,
right?
Is there a reason?
Yeah, and you don't need to bring up Karsten saying this. When he said bring this up, he meant bring up what your feelings are, not bringing up Karsten trying to give you advice.
You're like, I asked this guy on Instagram when he was doing an advice episode.
Yeah, he's like, this guy, he has a lot of thirst traps. And
that's not true. I did just post a selfie where I was like, I got a haircut that day, and
I mean,
it was a thirst trap.
Yeah, you were looking pretty hot. Dude, your Riz was on fleek.
I just learned what Riz was like a few days ago.
Yeah,
like what do people talk about when they say Riz?
Yeah, that's charisma.
Charisma. Oh, that's definitely not what it's referring to, is it?
Right?
I don't know.
Charisma?
Is that what Riz is referring to?
I thought it was.
Wait, what is Riz referring to?
What did you think it was?
Just some what the fuck is fleek?
I don't know, but then there's other ones that are just like part of a word that they...
What is Riz slang for? Riz is a slang term for skill in charming or seducing a potential romantic.
That's charisma.
I get, yeah, but it never mentioned... Is Riz short for charisma? Is Riz short for charisma? Is derived from charisma.
There you go.
Wow. Or someone who has game.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway. Don't take my advice.
Who's the old one now?
Yeah. Before you make any assumptions here in this situation, like I was saying earlier, don't do any of that. Just have a conversation with either him or a therapist.
Yeah, and if you can't have this conversation with this person, I think that in and of itself gives you information.
Yeah, that is I will say that this is this person is lacking in the relationship. I feel like at least being communicative enough to say why they're brushing it off.
Yeah.
That's important. Yeah. Anyway, that's that question. This next one, how long have we been recording for, by the way? You lose track of time in this. Oh, got plenty of time. This one comes from
Bumblebee.
Okay, this one comes from H, and it's what is the best way to form business relationships and networks in the film industry? I'm not great at this stuff, but I'm gonna do my best to answer this. I mean, you're better at this. What are you talking about?
Okay. I mean, a lot of it happens through just kind of putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
So film school is a huge one. Mm-hmm. That is, for us where we pretty much got all of our connections. But then there's all these weird side things that happen where my former roommate had connections with this production company, and then I met all of them, and then I let them like borrow my camera once for a thing, and then it's like you just meet people through various things.
Yeah.
Then through my job, like my direct boss was this guy who used to be a best boy for like tons of stuff, and he knows every film person in Chicago.
Yeah.
It's just all these things where you get yourself in this web, and then through different people you make different connections, and then it's not one thing you do. It's just being in a place and knowing some people that introduce you to other people, and just living your life and like hanging out with people.
Yeah. I would say that's how we met.
Yeah.
It's just like friends of friends of friends.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I've mentioned this before, like especially if like early on when you are trying to like break in, is like if you see an opportunity to be on a set, is to just say yes to it.
Yep.
Even if that set ends up sucking and it's horrible, it's like there will be more people on that set who you get to know, and then that will lead to a thing that they're working on, and then that opens up another. It's like really film is like so like I don't want to say easy, but like you really like get thrown in with a lot of people, and you can look at sets as like these like 12-hour networking events basically. You're like stuck with all these people, and it's like you just get really familiar with a lot of people.
Yeah.
And if you're not an asshole or a difficult person to work with, then it's like they'll probably ask you back.
Yeah. I mean, that's like I kind of was the pivot point for DePaul people working with a lot of the Chicago comedy people.
Yes.
Where I, worked on some stuff with people who were like doing comedy.
Yeah.
And then through them, I met a lot of these comedy people.
Yeah.
And then I helped them make some stuff. And then through that, like my crew was DePaul people.
Yeah.
And then, through that, it's like I had Jaxie help with stuff with Dan White, and then like they met each other, and then you met all them, and then you all started working together on other things.
Yeah.
So really it is just like connections.
Yeah.
With people you meet.
Also, like, and this is something that could take like years to build out, but it's like you eventually, I feel like a big part of like making stuff is like the whole part of like renting gear and knowing how to get the gear. And it's like, the longer you work, the more people you know who have like personal connections to like rental houses, and then like those people can get you stuff a little bit easier than you could just renting directly from. It's like just like, I don't know a lot of people.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying. And be a good person.
Yeah.
And I think this starts at like the ground floor of just like saying yes to like a couple sets.
And when you're starting out, a lot of this is like doing favors for people.
Yeah. You got to throw away the ego for a second here.
And also, if you're in the student level, you're not really getting paid. You're just getting like free lunch and some other stuff.
Yeah.
But it's mainly just like through favors. Then you earn favors from other people, and it all just kind of...
Yeah. I know a lot of people who, I mean, they've been working, but like if they want to get on like a cool set, like follow a lot of DPs and like other people they know on Instagram, and just like kind of cold DM them to like introduce them. And then if it clicks, they'll like have them on the set.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know. It's really like film. It seems like such a not businessy thing. So like really like connect by making like connections, you're just kind of like making like a friendship scene.
And then doing stuff with your friends.
Yeah, exactly. It's not as like serious as other industries.
But that's for like the short film like web series scene, of course.
Right. You get into corporate stuff.
Right. Like our friend and podcast guest Jaxie was just working on a show for a long period of time. 7 months. Because that one is like very corporate. Yeah. Obviously they're friends with the people they're working with because they're coworkers and stuff. Yeah. But definitely
that's
like
how it started though. Yeah.
Like, companies like NBC Universal and things.
Yeah. They're not friends, I would say.
Yeah, Jaxie's not friends with NBC Universal.
No. They're not enemies, but they're it's not, so that's that. This next one comes from Sam, and it's, I'm a VFX artist who hates VFX. Kind of thought it would be a nice way to get into the industry, though. I thought there would be a second part to the question, but that's it. Maybe that's not the best. I don't know why I picked it.
Okay, we could try to answer that quickly.
I guess I'll say, though, like, it's not, don't, like, force yourself to like a thing that you thought would be. VFX is a crazy place to be.
That one, it's like,
a lot.
Yeah, I know a couple of VFX people, and it's...
it doesn't seem fun.
Yeah, I would not prefer to do that. I don't even like editing, and that's literally what I am paid to do right now.
There might be like you might not hate all of it unless you do.
Yeah.
But if there's like a part of it you enjoy, it's not like you have to throw out the entire thing and start over.
Right. And you can still use those connections, to try to pivot into something that you think you might like more.
Right. It's not,
I mean, we have, a director of festival films here, Karsten Reichwitz, who
we got the pamphlet up there, the program.
Yeah. So Karsten knows what he's talking
about. Let's see. This one comes from.
Did you win an award?
We did, not at Chicago International, but the one we lost to at Chicago International went on to get nominated for the best short film at the Oscars. So I was like, okay.
So you're like,
we didn't have a chance, but
wait, which one was that?
The Ice Merchants, I think, won best short at. I think so. But we did win. We did win best comedy short and we won best short film at Chattanooga Film Festival, which was a big deal because that was a decently sized festival, and to win best short was actually pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
And actually going back really quickly to the whole connections thing. Mm-hmm. That's like through my comedy connections how I met Mike Brunlieb, who when you sent me the script, I was like, this is Mike Brunlieb.
Yeah, because I actually actually, nah. I reached out to Dan White first, and Dan was like, I'm a father. And I was like, all right. But Mike's also a father, but Mike was like, I can do this. And he did. And that's thanks to Jeff.
Such a minor thanks to Jeff.
Oh, I'm going to say you and Jaxie, because Jaxie also was like, reach out to Mike. And this one comes from Isaac. It's thinking of asking out my best friend of 10 years, but I don't want to make things weird. I don't want things to be weird. That is, I'll be honest, that's high stakes.
That is
10
really
years
high
is
stakes.
a long time.
Yeah, like how long have I known you?
Not that long.
That's what I'm saying. I've known you since 2016.
2023. This would be like 2013.
Yeah, so I've probably only known you for 7 years.
Oh my god,
I've known you for 6 years. I think. Because Cookie was like my very close friend before we started dating, and that was only like maybe a year and a half, and that felt like a big deal. So 10 years, I will say that I hung out a couple of times with you and Cookie before you were, dating.
Yeah,
and I kind of felt like there was a thing.
Everyone was like, "We're not surprised," but I was like, "Really?"
Yeah, I was not.
Well, that's the thing. That's what's interesting. Because
you were surprised. It sounds like
I was surprised, but the vibes of this, I don't know what it's like. It depends on how likely it seems. Because I mean, if it's likely, then I would say go for it. The thing about this, though, is that the issue isn't necessarily if they would be down or not. It's the fact that, like, if it does happen, that's great. But then there's always the chance if you guys break up.
Yeah.
Then 9 out of 10 times it goes south. Like, it's very hard to recover and go back to friends once you go into this direction.
It really, I think, depends. Because obviously, if you've known them 10 years, you are aware of their orientation, and that would be a compatible, thing there. But I think you have to know yourself and know if you would be okay if they say that they are not interested. Of still being friends with them. This can't be something where you're always in the back of your mind going to be like, well, I'm in love with them, but they are not. And then you're staying around them, spending all this time together. So I think this, if you're best friends for 10 years, has to be something where you don't just throw it on them. I think you need to pretty much have a very, probably like a nighttime sit down. Having a beer with them kind of thing where you're like, okay, we got to discuss this.
Right.
And then you just kind of lay it on the table and whatever you're comfortable with. For example, if you are fine if they just stay your friend, you could say, I'm fine if we do this. I just want to address this now once and for all. Because I don't think it's something where you just spring it on them and ask them out and they'd be like, well,
exactly.
Yeah, what do you think?
I agree. You shouldn't spring it on them. I don't know. This is tough because if it's already on the mind and you're considering it, then it almost seems too late. Because if you already have feelings, then it's hard to navigate a friendship like this and get rid of those feelings as someone from experience. So you might have to go for it. But have a conversation about it and be like, this is happening. I don't want it to ruin, like, just be honest. Like, I don't want it to ruin anything. But I thought I should make this known.
Yeah. And then the final addendum, I would say, is to do your best internally to verify that this is how you actually feel and isn't just like a development of maybe going through a difficult time and like thinking of this person as like a stable foundation for you in the moment. And it's something where you actually have developed these feelings authentically.
That's good advice.
Because I think I've done that before where I was having like a difficult time and I was like grasping at things rather than having like real genuine I also do know
a fair amount of people that have gone through this and then came out just being friends and being like, well, that didn't work. That's fine.
So that's good that you know that can happen.
It can happen. Just know that. Anyway, especially if you guys were friends for 10 years, that is such a crazy foundation that like you should be okay. I don't know. It would be weird if this is like the first time this has ever come up, honestly. If it's been 10 years, maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, this next one comes from Lemon, and it's, I'm getting on a 24-hour flight in 30 minutes. What movies should I watch?
24
I know. That's insane.
I don't know if that's even possible. Because I flew from Chicago direct to Taiwan, and that was 15 hours. 24, I don't think is a possible flight. Maybe it's like including a layover. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Because I literally don't think that there is a 24-hour flight. Like that would be like going from Chicago to like Bloemfontein, South Africa. Yeah. Like it would be to the point where I actually don't think you can't. Because you would the plane would just go the other direction around the world. Right. And it would get there faster. Like I don't know if there's any flight that can happen. Last that long. So assuming you mean a layover. Yeah. New Zealand maybe? If you go Chicago to New Zealand or like Australia maybe. Mm-hmm. But I don't think they can take the plane that far. I feel like that would be like you would have a layover in like LAX from here. Or Fiji. I don't know. Yeah, the big hub of Oceania, Fiji. So I would say the Lord of the Rings. The trilogy, the entire trilogy. You could bust it out. You could, but you could bust out, and that'd be half the flight. I think you would fall asleep. It was too much of the same because it's essentially just like one long movie. That's true. You vary it up. That's true. Yeah, I would say you want to mix it up where you start with like a nice drama. Mm-hmm. Then maybe you go into like a doc. Yep. Go into a doc. Then an action movie. A Judd Apatow comedy. Yeah, that's a 2 hour. Then you sleep. Yep. Then let's say you land at your layover. Yeah. You explore the airport. Don't watch anything at the airport. You can actually walk around. Yeah. Walk around. That's your exercise. Give the eyes a rest. Yeah. And then get back on another action movie to riz you up. Yeah. That's not how you use riz. Riz you up with an action movie. RRR is a good plane movie. Do you remember the meme I sent you about? Oh yeah. The seals. RRR. Yeah. What? Can you describe that so that makes sense? I'm trying to remember. Was it on Instagram? Yeah. I just have to look it up because I butcher the. Okay. Yeah. It's seals when the function has fish, and it's like. RRR. So watch RRR. Yeah. It's 3 hours long and it's like really entertaining. Which I still haven't seen it. It's a good movie. I mean, next time you're on a flight, I'd recommend it. Yeah. When I went home from Reykjavik. Reykjavik. Yeah. Gone Girl is a fantastic plane movie until it's not. But like, it's like the fact that it's a mystery. I did a whole video about plane movies, honestly, but. It's like it just flies by. Yeah, literally. So a couple things to avoid: snakes on a plane. Yeah. I would say any air disaster films you should avoid. I in my video I said films that are dark, at like literally like low light, because then it's like you could just see your own reflection in the thing. Yeah, that's the screens on flights are really bad. Yeah, it's just it gets annoying after a while. Yeah. Something bright. Yeah, also avoid things that have a lot of nudity. Yes. Because then you just feel embarrassed. Yeah. There's like, ugh. Which is why Gone Girl's good until a certain scene with a lot of blood and nudity. Something pretty long is good. Forrest Gump is a solid plane movie. Yep. You know what? When I was on my flight, since it was to Taiwan... It was a Taiwanese airline, and they had a large selection of Asian films. Yeah. Which is when I watched A Banana at this time of night. And that film was fine. Yeah. It could have been worse. I've seen worse films.
Yeah.
But I probably wouldn't recommend it.
No. What was the other one? Secret Zoo? But we watched that.
We watched
separately.
Secret Zoo. Yeah, I forget how.
That was a bad movie. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, the trailer is hilarious. I highly recommend watching the trailer for Secret Zoo.
Yeah.
The film is bad.
Right. This next one, and maybe we'll make this the last one. We're coming up on the end here. Is advice for marketing / building hype for any sort of project. See, that's tough. I feel like it's tough these days because with the internet, people have like exhausted a lot of the creative stuff.
Because for you, this is difficult to answer because what you do is you just post about it on your social media where you have thousands of followers.
Right. I think being like kind of mysterious and not giving away too much, being like cryptic about something is a great way of building hype. Like, this is kind of a bad example, but have you heard about the Frank Ocean thing last week at Coachella?
Vaguely, yeah.
It was pretty bad. I didn't think it was that bad, but I was a little disappointed. But the buildup was that like he had like this classic orange car from one of his album covers like throughout Palm Springs where Coachella was, and like it was just like the captions were like just sort of simple but like kind of hinted at like a new album, and like there's just like it was very like no one saw him, like it was like just it was very quiet and mysterious, and I think that generated a lot of like speculation and hype, and then he ended up like disappointing, but it was just. I like the way he does his stuff. It's very, very mysterious.
But I think that only works if you're
Frank
very
Ocean.
famous. Like, being low-key mysterious doesn't make any sense if no one is following you to begin with.
Right.
Because is something mysterious if no one's there to ponder?
No one really cares, yeah. No one cares.
Yeah. So that it is difficult, I would say, in the modern environment for random people like you and me, not like Karsten, like you and me, to generate buzz.
I mean, it depends on the project. I'm working on this. Well, I have this feature script, right, that I really want to make, and I'm trying to come up with fun ways that I could like build hype, or do like because there's like the idea there you do a proof of concept short, and then that's how you get money.
Like Bottle Rocket, that's how Wes Anderson got Bottle Rocket made. And
there's this one idea I have for it that I'm not gonna say because I don't want anyone stealing it, but I think it's like kind of a fun new idea. That I don't know why I'm bringing it up. Okay. I'm not gonna say it.
Here's what I think it is. You get an army of people to dress up in gorilla suits and then go on a roller coaster all together at Six Flags.
Yeah, that's actually it's genius. That's how you raise money for a feature film. Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking about this. You know the movie Black Adam with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yeah.
Apparently for the marketing for that, they like hired Mr. Beast, and there's like a screenshot that I saw last week of like one of the things. I never saw this, but it's like Mr. Beast, and behind him is like a bunch of people dressed up as Black Adam, and he's like, I got 100 Black Adams, and I don't know what the rest of the video is, but that's all I saw, and I think that's a ridiculous way to market a movie.
That sounds expensive.
It's expensive, and
pay Mr. Beast.
The movie bombed, or didn't bomb, but it was not as successful as they wanted it to be. So, anyway, I don't know. It's the answer is I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess. Don't shove it down the viewer's throat. Don't make it so that people are like sick of it. I guess. Before it's even out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Try to make a good TikTok.
Do something controversial.
Not too controversial,
but like, generate a conversation.
Yeah.
Anyway,
honestly, that was probably our worst.
It's probably one of our worst.
That was terrible advice. I'm sorry, we did not help at all.
And I think that's gonna do it for the advice episode.
Yeah, it really went out with a
banger. That was our third advice episode. Thank you guys for all the wonderful questions, and I hope we were some.
I hope we helped at least one person.
Yeah, exactly. Hope we helped one of you. This next part of the podcast, would you like to announce next week's movie or next month's movie?
Next whatever episode.
Next whenever movie. I mean, if you see Air, we could talk about Air. I would love to talk.
I'd be down.
It's a good Karstcast. Yeah.
I'm sure I could go
movie.
See that with Jared.
Yeah, and I think you guys would really like it. But this one comes from Tobias Funky, or this is the review section. I kind of jumped ahead. This is the review section. This one comes from Tobias Funky from Great Britain. Subject line, it's the best, 5 stars. And it reads, it's the best. I feel like I've discovered so many new movies through these lads. It's really rare to hear movie criticism that feels smart and original while still being fun. Love it. Keep up the good work. Catch you on the flip side. Hey, thanks, Tobias.
Thank you. Although I'm pretty sure that's a play on the Arrested Development character Tobias Funke.
Yeah. I don't know how to spell it, so I just said Funky.
Tobias
Funky.
I mean, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Tobias Funky. That's that. Anything else?
I like your hat.
Actually, we do have one more thing we have to do, and that's thank the patrons over at patreon.com/Karstcast, where you can get exclusive access to bonus episodes, Q&As, shout-outs at the end of every episode, which we're about to do, and monthly Zoom Hangouts, which we'll be doing in April.
Yeah.
Coming up here. Thank you.
This is April.
Yes, this is April, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you, Alex, Anson Contreras, Camilla, Christian Jacobson, Christine Kim, Coop, David Borslow, David Sir, Gabriel Saburin, Jared Armstrong, Jaden Alexander, John Van Hout. Let's change the Google search results for PTA. Leave in what should I change this to? Martin Deff, Marilee Borslow, Monroe Page, Pasta Noodle, Queen of Staten Island, Riley Ost, Ryan M, Sam Farr, Stella Perry, Super Kelly Fragilis, Gex Bialodosha, Smitty Werbin, Jagerman Jensen, Wes Kinley, Wiley Todd, and Zoe Hernandez McDonald. Wiley Todd actually was made a cameo in one of my recent videos.
Yeah, about music
supervision. Yeah, I feel like he I asked him for help and like did like a Zoom thing with him all the way back in like August, and I feel like he thought that video was never going to come out, but hit him out of nowhere in April.
There you go. So you never know.
Finally made that video, and I'm happy with how it turned out. Anyway. Thank you. Thanks again to Wiley Todd for the help on that video. Thanks for listening. And as always,
catch you on the flip side.
Catch you on the flip side.